Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Benjamin, and welcome to another Godot tutorial for our mobile turn-based RPG series. If you have enjoyed this series so far, be sure to check out my Kickstarter. There will be a link in the description and a card in the video. Let's get started. Today, we're going to learn a little bit more about how to use Godot's powerful UI system. You can see currently if we want to add a new button, like if we do control, well, let's just say we click up here on UI, we do a new button up here. It does theme it for us, but it sticks it up here. We'd have to try and position it somewhere over here, and that gets to be a little bit of a hassle. So we're going to learn about some of Godot's container nodes. The specific one that we're going to learn about is grid container today. So, well, actually we'll probably learn about another one too. Let's start with the grid container. So click on your UI node, add a new child, and look for grid container. Now this is a special type of node that is just used for, let's get this positioned well. I'm just going to put it somewhere around there. That is just used for moving other control nodes and managing them on a grid automatically so that you don't have to do that. So let's drag our sword button into the grid container, and you can see it shrunk it. And that's because inside of our sword button, we need to give it a minimum size. And the min size is 32 on the X and 13 on the Y, I think. And that gives us the correct size that we need so that it can't be shrunk smaller than that. And if we click on our grid container, we only have one column right here, which means if we add another button node to this, button, let's do that. Let's add another one. We'll call this default or test button, okay? And we'll make sure test button, we'll make sure it also has a minimum size of 32 and 13, just like the one above. Okay, and let's add like two more for now. You can see it automatically positions them, but since we only have one column, it's positioning them all under one column. We want to make sure we set this to 2 columns, so click on your grid container, set this to 2 columns, and there you go. We've already got, it's already positioning them, but it's not positioning them quite right yet. So we're going to want to set some custom constants. We want to, because you can control how much they're separated vertically and how much they're separated vertically, I guess, and how much they're separated horizontally. And so we want to change the horizontal separation under custom constants. So click this, and then we're going to set this to 8. And that should space it out quite nicely. And if you want, these are my exact positions, my grid container's exact position and size currently are 973 for the position and 7264 for the size. So we're probably going to end up shrinking this a bit though. So you can set that up, and then we can come into our, why are there 2 for V separation? V separation, V separation. That's weird. I don't know why there are 2. I've never noticed that. We'll just use the top one, and we'll set it to 3. And that will allow us to create, I think, 8. So if we duplicate our test button, we can get 8, and it fits quite nicely inside of here. And there you go. You could use this. Another use case for this would be for an inventory system. You wouldn't have to manually loop through all the data and draw it on a grid using, nested for loops and stuff like that. You can just use a grid container for your inventory and put your inventory slots in and put however many columns you want, and it's a very, very useful node. One of the other reasons that Godot's UI is so powerful. Okay. Now let's get rid of, I don't know, whatever. We'll just leave all those there for now, the test buttons. We're going to, oh yeah, we did name all of these 9 frames, which 9 slice is better. And so let's actually rename these. So we're going to right click, rename 9 slice, rename. And you can rename them all, and it's pretty easy. There. Okay. Save. Now let's do the player's stats. And we're going to create a new node for this. So let's create a new node. We'll call this, it'll just be a default node. We'll drag it up to the top here. And we'll call it player stats, like that. And we'll attach a script to this. Great. And the player stats script is going to be pretty simple. We're going to give it some variables. Max HP, set that to 25. Set HP equal to max HP. And then we're going to do the same thing for the action points and mana points. So AP and MP. Var max AP equals 3. Var AP equals max AP. Var max MP equals 10. Var MP equals max MP. So we've got, this looks a little bit busy. I think we can tab these. I don't know, because Godot adds little indents for when you tab, so I'm not sure that actually looks better. But we're also going to have a signal in here. Signal. And this signal will be end turn. And so we can signal when the player's turn has ended. We can tell the battle node. Because remember, signal up, call down. Each of these is going to have a setter function as well. Each of the HP, AP, and MP. Don't worry about the max values though. So for HP, we'll do set, get, set, HP. For AP, we'll do set, get, set, AP. And for MP, we'll do set, get, set, MP. Now we need to create these functions. Set HP value. HP equals value. Set AP value. AP equals value. MP equals value. Oops, not false. Okay. There, we've created all of those. So why do we need these? Well, we're going to be updating. We need our setters and getters because we're going to be updating the stats for the player. So let's create some UI for this right here. So this is our stats panel node. So we're going to add a new container to this. So add a new node, and the container we'll do is this VBox container. No, HBox. HBox container. So this is kind of like, so VBox and HBox containers are kind of like the grid container, only they only go either horizontally or vertically. So an HBox container only contains things horizontally, And we want it to only be inside of this stats panel. So if we come up here to layout, we can do full rect, and that will make sure that it takes up the entire space inside of the stats panel. Once we've done that, we can add some labels inside of here. So we're going to add a new node, label. And each of these labels will be our HP, and we can duplicate them. Well, let's keep this one for now. So then we'll say HP return 25, like this. And we'll want the alignment, just the normal alignment, to be centered. And we could add more, like you can see we can duplicate this and we get more stats, but we want them to be evenly distributed across this so that they're in the center. And to do that, we want each of these to take up as much room as they possibly can inside of here. That way, if there's 3 of them, it will evenly divide the space by 3 because each of them is taking up as much room as they possibly can with each of the other labels inside of the container. And if we go into the size flags for our label, this is where we can affect that. So we want our label to expand horizontally. And you can see that makes it take up the entire space here. Do we want it to expand vertically? I guess it probably doesn't matter in this case. But it takes up the entire space that it can because it expands horizontally. Now, if we duplicate this, you can see that it immediately divides evenly the space because it's trying to make room for both of them. So if we add another one, and I have been duplicating without telling you how to duplicate. You can technically right click and do duplicate, but you also want to do control. You can also use control D as the hotkey. So select a node and then do control D and it will duplicate it. I'll probably make a comment about that in the comment section so that people watching the video for the first time will know. Because I did it earlier with the buttons but didn't mention how to do it. Okay, so we're going to name this one AP and change it to AP return 3. And then this one we'll name MP. And we'll come over here and we'll do MP return 10. Okay. And we want this to be white and not gray. We have the same problem with our enemy. So I think there's something in our theme that we need to change here. Default font. Maybe we just need to change it in label. Come into label, colors. Yeah, we need to set this to white. And then save. And then we might have to like click on a new scene and then come back. Yep, there we go. Now it's showing properly. Just close out of that. Get rid of the theme there. Let's clear our debugger. Ooh, that was interesting. Clear the output as well. Okay. Okay, so our stats is set up. I'm going to rename this to stats container. So we've got our stats panel and then our stats container. And we're actually going to give our stats panel its own script. So give it a script to create new script. And inside of here, we're just going to get each of the labels. And we'll do this by doing what we've done before with the onReady var. onReady var. onReady. Let's move my mouse. var HP label equals stat. Let's see. If you just start typing HP and then hit enter, That's the weird thing. Did you know that? My autocomplete is actually working. It's just not displaying properly. OnReady var AP label equals AP enter OnReady var. I keep missing that Y. MP label MP. There we go. Okay, so why do we need access to all the labels? Well, we're going to be updating them. But we're going to be doing that when what? When the player's stats change, right? So let's come back into player stats. And in order for our player stats node to talk to our stats panel node, the UI and the player stats node are technically siblings. So we can't really call down because it's not a child of the other one. So we're going to use a signal. So inside of here, we'll create new signals. So we'll create signal HP changed. And we'll pass an argument with that signal. Signal AP changed. Pass an argument with that signal. MP changed. We'll pass an argument with that signal. Then we want to emit each of these signals whenever our setter functions go off, whenever one of these changes, right? And so, but we've got a problem here. So let's say let's say we heal some, okay? So let's say we heal by 50 for whatever reason. Well, our HP is then going to exceed our max HP, and we don't want that to happen. So here, instead of doing just HP equals value, we're going to do HP equals min value max HP. So that way it will choose the smaller of these two. So if we heal by 50 or whatever and our HP is like 55, then it will just set our HP to 25 because it will choose this lower one. However, if we heal by like 1 and that sets our HP to 20, then it won't heal us to max HP. It'll just choose the smaller one and set our HP to that. So we're going to do that with all of these. Max MP, there we go. And then when we emit the signal, emit signal HP changed, we need to pass the argument, right? It's expecting an argument, so we need to pass that. We'll do HP. Don't do value, do HP. Emit signal AP changed, AP. Emit signal MP changed, MP. Okay. Now our player stats, this is about all it does. It just updates the UI for the player. That's all it really does, and stores these values. So if we come into our scene now, we can click on player stats, click on node, and we can connect these signals. So we're going to connect HP changed to our stats panel. So click on stats panel, and we do want to create a method. So make sure it says make function, and we'll do connect. So then that creates this function inside of our stats panel object, and we can just update the label. HP, oops. Accidentally typed in my reference project. HP label dot text equals HP, and we need to add a return here, plus str value. That's the value that it will be changed to. So this should update our text so that it represents the new HP. Now we're going to do the same thing. Click on player stats. Click on AP changed for the signal. Click connect. Click on the stats panel. Click connect. And let's do that one more time while we're at it. Click on player stats. Click on MP changed. Click on connect. Click on stats panel. Click connect. And here we go. Now let's update each of these respective labels. AP label.text equals AP return plus str value. MP label.text equals MP return plus str value. Okay, when these change, we should see that reflected. So our enemy doesn't actually know how to attack the player yet. So let's come into enemy right here. And this is where our attack animation plays. So let's yield here. Yield animation player animation finished, just like we did before, right? Above here. And then right here we'll want to attack the player, but we need to find the player first, and this isn't going to be how we're going to do it in the final project. Obviously a lot of this code right here isn't how we're going to do it in the final project. But let's find the player, and we can do this by we can get access to the battle, who can then find the player stats node. So we'll do var battle equals get tree dot current scene. Okay, so that gets us the root node of the scene right here. Not the root node, because there's technically another. It's the root node of what we can see. So it's the base node right here. So once we get that, we can say var player equals battle dot find node player stats, and that will find the player node right here. And then we can say player dot HP minus equals 3 or something. So that should make it so that the player takes damage now when the enemy attacks. So let's save and run the game and see if this is going to work. So we attack him, and it attacks us, and we do take damage now. You can see that's reflected here. Awesome. We are getting an error message here. Not found sword button UI. Oh, it's because we don't even need that. Oh yeah, we do, for hiding it and stuff when the enemy dies. But yeah, we actually don't need that, because what we need now inside of our battle is to get access to the grid container. Oh, which we're going to rename. Let's rename that battle action buttons. Then we'll come back into battle. We'll call this battle action buttons. There we go. Got access to it. And then instead of hiding the sword button, we'll hide all of the battle action buttons. So clean up that error right there. We'll still have one more error. Oh, maybe not. So we killed the enemy, it hit the buttons. Guess we don't have an error. I thought we would. End turn is declared but never emitted. So we've got the warning because we still need to hook that up, which we will. The enemy is going to have an end turn signal as well. But I think I'll save that for the next video. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Once again, if you're enjoying this series, please consider checking out my Kickstarter, the 1-bit Godot course. And I will see you all next week.